Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. If you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Well, we're not doing either of those three things today. We're going to be talking about the Xbox Series X and S, even though me and Ian don't have one. And, of course, my name is Anthony. Some people call me Gooch, Ragucci. And joining me, Delaware County's own, the resident Star Wars expert, Ian Fitzgerald.
Hey. How's it going?
What's up? Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, yeah, like we were kind of talking before with the Xbox. You have it? Yeah, you have an X.
Yeah.
Okay.
X, yeah.
I knew that. I just wanted to make sure. So you pre-ordered yours before mine. We all know about it. You laughed in my face for months.
I got it. You know,
that like that
simple.
That first day.
For me,
it was the first day, right?
Yeah, and I hit. They said it was going to be available at a certain time. I think.
Which it was for the most
following, some Twitter update that was always like,
Wario 64.
Maybe it was Wario.
Yeah.
I know it is for
That's
my
how I got
PlayStation
both
right
my
now.
consoles.
But yeah, and they finally were just like, "Hey, it's here." And I was just about to walk into the gym, and then I was like, "Let me see if I could get this on my phone." Instantly, Walmart had it. I didn't even have to refresh or anything. I just add the cart, buy.
Wow.
And it was done. And then I realized, that was rare. Like that, especially for back in October.
No issues with delay. Got to you on day one. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it was Best Buy, and obviously, like I didn't get it day one. And I was like, fuck, because like it was like we were coming down to the wire. I think I must have gotten it like 2 or 3 weeks before, and I got it on Best Buy. Ordered it. Wasn't shipped to me, but I got it at the Springfield Best Buy.
Okay.
I went in. This is how easy it was. Like it was a little like stupid. Like I walk in there, it's like 5 o'clock after work, and I go to the pre-order thing. I just said, hey, picking up a Series X for under Ragucci. Like didn't even have to give him like a confirmation number, like really nothing official, no ID. Like he gave it to me and I was out. There's no line, nothing. It was like easy. Like It could not have been easier. And then I was just like, fuck yeah. It actually felt really cool to like go in and get it rather than like my PlayStation got delivered to me. There's definitely like even though not a lot of people were there, it wasn't like a traditional like midnight or like you're picking it up and everyone else is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, I think I texted you like the day of and was just like, this feels like a different launch day than any other type of launch day in years past. I think the years of, I remember seeing like old commercials for like the PlayStation 2 or the Xbox 360 and people in lines like, out around the store,
right.
Because of COVID and because of just the demand for video consoles.
Have you been seeing ads on TV? I don't know I know you watch sports.
No.
Because I haven't been watching TV and I don't think I've seen ads on like TV, maybe on the internet.
As far as Xbox goes, I haven't. I've seen, during Premier League games with Chelsea, during like their Premier League games around the banners of like the pitch, it'll say PS5 and like it's not Play Beyond now. What is Play to something greatness or whatever they're
shit.
I know this is an Xbox podcast, but
no, your greatness is in there.
Greatness is
Greatness is here. There we go.
Yeah, and it'll say like greatness is here, and then just the PS5 logo.
Right.
But that's the only ad I've really seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen them like, which is just like it's really a relevant topic, but like, yeah, I haven't seen it like massively marketed, probably because you can't really get one.
I was gonna say, does it even need the advertising? Everybody wants one. Everybody
right.
They know it exists. They want it.
One thing in the PlayStation 5 kind of review that I mentioned is just like anyone trying to get a console right now, and like we're like a less than a week from Christmas, fucking God bless you, man. Because like I there's probably a lot of disappointed kids on Christmas this year. Like they want the new console, but like unless you're like in the weeds like we are on the shit, like I don't know how a parent is gonna like fucking get one.
Yeah, no, I mean by now you'd have to know somebody that's selling one or something. There's no. I think you're past the point of being able to get one for a child for Christmas.
Yeah, or even for like anyone.
I mean, I know even for currently like Best Buy and Walmart the other day were like this comes after January 25th. It said in a yellow like bar, like you can't get this before Christmas.
Right. And the question is, after Christmas, is the availability of both the Xbox and the PlayStation going to be better? Because I think like the holiday season is kind of the thing, but like, you know, I would like it. Like, do a lot of people have the systems yet? Like, I think it's kind of hard for me to say like yes or no. Like, I don't really know. Like, let me break it down this way. When I go to see, like, ask people like, oh, like, who can I get on the podcast to talk about the new systems? And it's only like a handful of us.
True.
Only like a lot more people have a PS5, and then me, you, and Jeff have an Xbox. Not even Trio has next gen. So it's kind of like fuck. Like, who do like? We want to talk about next gen, but like not everyone has it yet.
Yeah, you know,
or is able to get it.
I've wanted both consoles. I know I could have waited. There was that hype. There was that hype.
No waiting.
There was the hype, you know, that I got sucked into. That was like, you know, day of. This is gonna be really cool to have.
Right.
You know, you try and think like what games are coming out, and I mean, with Xbox not having Halo at launch, it was a huge hit. It's a huge hit.
Like I guess that's the one negative I think the Xbox Series X and S kind of have, and it's not like a too negative to me. And I've been like coming to bat for Xbox. You can play literally all your games on this thing. So like, do you need new games? Not really. Would it be nice? Sure.
Yeah, and you know, going back to like how getting consoles day one is different this year than it was in previous generations, was that I remember texting you and saying, you know, it's like new smartphones and things like that nowadays, where like, you know, you go through your update, you know, they made us update through the phone, or set up through the phone, I should say. And then...
Oh, I love that.
But then, you know, once everything was done, my system loaded up and I was like, I have the same, like, HUD and everything as the Xbox One, and it doesn't feel like... Even though it's so convenient and it's awesome that it's all there, it doesn't feel like I got a new system. Or it didn't, you know?
Right. I was mesmerized by that, and I was like, dude, like, the PlayStation, like, it felt like getting a new system. Like, you had to do everything from scratch, sign in. Xbox, it was like, oh... we're downloading something while we're doing that. Like, let's get the profile squared away. And you went on your phone and plugged it in, and like you were signed in almost instantaneously. Like, I was so shocked about how like efficient and convenient they made like getting your shit together.
Yeah.
For the new console. And like you go in and right, it does kind of feel like it's not the old operating system, but the operating system that Xbox is just currently on.
Yeah.
And we know, you know, 6 months, 8 months, a year, we're gonna get a dashboard update. That's kind of the thing with Xbox that PlayStation doesn't have. It's like, well, we have the same home for PlayStation through the whole generation, and unless they change their, you know, how they're doing things, we're probably going to have the same home on PS5. But on Xbox, hey, expect an update within a year. We're probably going to get a fresh new dashboard changes. And whether you like them or not, I know, like, you know, every update, it's like, oh, they changed this. But you get used to it. And, like, I don't really gripe them too hard. It's just like, yeah. I think the way the Xbox dashboard and the user interface works, so it's kind of like, why change it for next gen, but we're just gonna do that anyway down the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like you said, I'm indifferent of them updating it down the line. Like it is
what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that, you know, a little refreshing. Sometimes it's annoying because you're like, where is, you know, something that you're always looking for that you're like, oh, that's always on the menu, like right here. But
right.
Other than that, you know.
And then we were talking about it before we started too, is the storage being this is like a gripe for most, or, you know, if you're getting next gen, you got to re-download fucking everything you have. And it's like, yo, you need to like set aside a day that you're, I mean, most likely if you're working, you're probably working from home like I am, and I was just downloading games all day.
Yeah. All day.
Like literally, like from the moment I woke up to like 5 o'clock, and I was still going.
I started with the games that I knew were going to have a excess upgrade. You know, those were the games I really wanted to see, because, you know, when I got my system day of, I didn't have a game.
Neither did I. And it's funny, like you know, Valhalla came out, and like Cold War and a few other
Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, you didn't. I thought you got Cold War.
I have Cold. So well, that's.
You never finished it, did you?
I did finish it this past week.
Okay, because I remember you got stuck
there. So what happened with that was, when I bought that through Xbox, it said is the wording was very sketchy, and it said can be played on Xbox Series XS,
But it's not the XS upgrade.
but it wasn't the XS version.
Yeah.
So there was the $60 version, which is base game, but that's the Xbox One version that they're
Right.
selling just across the board.
And that is a Call of Duty thing. They decided to do that.
So I purchased that. Then there's the $70 one, which is you can play it on Xbox One, and then when the new systems come out, you could, for those extra $10, you could also have the version, the XS version.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was, a deluxe, I believe,
Yeah,
the,
with all the
$100
bullshit.
one or something like that.
Yeah.
But I did not know that there was. I thought my version would just get upgraded.
In most cases, yeah, it does. But in the cases where companies decide to be like, oh, we're going to lock the next gen upgrade behind a $10 paywall or $20 paywall, or whatever it was. And I think Call of Duty was the first ones to do that. And a lot of people are like, yo, come on, really?
I mean, are we
All right,
surprised?
sure.
Are we surprised? But, I started playing that, and I didn't have any gripes, I didn't even realize, I feel like today's graphics, I was like, this looks good. I honestly didn't even realize that I was playing, an Xbox One version game. And then I'm going to say I was 25 minutes away from finishing the game, and I had my first crash. And I thought,
Game crash or console crash?
console crash.
Okay.
And
There's a difference.
And I was like, that's weird, but let me start again. And I start the game up again, and this time I only get like 5 minutes into the mission I was still on, and it does it again. And I was like, oh boy.
Hard crash.
Yep. And I go, oh boy, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I immediately look up like on Twitter and the internet. I was like, what do we got going on here? Is it just me? Because when I got my PS4 and I was playing Watch Dogs, I only was able to play for 25 minutes before my fan and my PS4 would just not cool down the system. Day of. And so I had a PS4 for like an hour maybe before it just was not even able to function.
I didn't know
And I
that.
had to ship it back to Sony.
Really?
Yeah, and they sent me actually a brand new one. They said they didn't fix the fans, but you had to like text like what you think was wrong with your system, and I was like, it's really overheating, and I don't think the cooling fans are cooling it down. And then they got back to me, and they're like, yeah, it was not. The fans were not activating when they should, and they just gave me a whole new system.
I never
Which
knew
was
that.
good because I didn't have anything really, no save files really or anything like that. They just
Sucks, but good thing, bad thing, I guess.
But going back to the Xbox, I kept crashing, and then you look up online and everybody's, hey, Treyarch, fix your game. Like, why is it crashing the Xbox
Right.
and things like that, and seeing, what can we do to like fix this? When's there's going to be a patch? And I waited weeks for there to be a patch. It was ridiculous. And then one day
Ubisoft is pretty bad with patches. I've noticed.
they didn't even announce, or I kept looking. Maybe they did. I'm not going to fully.
Oh wait, we're
accuse
talking
them.
about Call of Duty?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
So talking about Call of Duty.
Yeah, I didn't get the switch back.
One day I was just playing a game online, and I just was looking at my queue, and it was like update, and it was a Call of Duty update that was already installing. Like,
You're like,
okay.
oh god.
And I was like,
go.
okay, so then that must be it. And earlier this week, I was like, oh yeah, that update came out. Let me see if it still works. If it won't crash the system, and I haven't had a crash since. So, and I was able to finish the campaign, and now I'm able to play online and stuff.
Yay,
so,
great.
yeah, but you're like,
So-
you'd like that day one.
So I think I've had a few games crash, and that happens. I think I had one hard system crash, and another weird issue where I had to like not factory reset it, but like hard reset it, hold it in.
Mhm.
My games weren't like launching, like none of them were like launching.
Really?
Yeah, and I was just like, all right, I'll just reset it, and it worked. I think I was playing Apex, and I think I'm trying to remember if maybe I didn't hard crash. Now that I think about it, because I did on PlayStation 5. I had a console crash. I don't think my console crashed. Now that I think about it, I've had games crash, but that happens. Nothing huge. Yeah, I don't think I had one.
Now, slightly going off topic here, you said you were playing Apex. Did you know, how early did you know that games such as Apex and stuff were going to be on the new consoles? Because I'm a Rocket League player.
I don't think they ever really talked about it, to be quite
I was very
honest.
concerned. I play Rocket League a lot, and I was
Right.
like,
Well,
am I going to leave my old system like plugged in? Because I always want to play this.
So, I mean, like, my old systems are down there, but, like, I move them down. I'm like, I'm leaving them plugged in. Like, I don't know if I'm going to have to go get saves or something like that. And, like, everything should be on the cloud, but, like, you never know.
Yeah.
So Apex. So, yeah, let's talk about what games we've been playing. Like, I've been playing Apex, which has the XS upgrade, Gears 5, which has the XS upgrade, Kingdoms of Amalur, which doesn't, which is, like, the remaster from the summer, which I only played, like, once. Cyberpunk, which we'll talk about, Red Dead 2, which looks great. All these games, whether they have the upgrade or not, I can definitely see the improvement. And there is improvement, whether it's frames or the graphics are up to a little bit. Most of these bigger games have the XS upgrade. Like Apex runs and looks way better than it does on your Xbox One. I can I was playing that a lot, and same with Red Dead, like. The HDR like graphic settings and like you being able to do the sliders and stuff with your HDR inputs, like changing the brightness and stuff, like those, like that shit is really noticeable.
For sure.
Yeah.
In fact, even with FIFA came out with their update, EA came with their sports update. They did. I have Madden, but they did it for Madden and they did it for FIFA, and it came out. Those games came out whatever, August and October, I believe. And then their updates came out December 4th for both games. And it was a brand new file you had to load. It wasn't like an update. Like that's a whole new game. Like I wasn't able to carry over my save files for like my
So we're talking about FIFA 21.
FIFA 21. I was
not able to. So you bought FIFA 21 on launch?
Yeah, digitally.
Okay.
And then, started a career, made my Chelsea team or whatever, like played games. And then the update comes out and they're like, oh yeah, everything you just did in career mode is not available. You have to start a new career with this new update, which I didn't know. Thankfully I didn't get too far, but I would have been frustrated to have.
So did your saves come over eventually?
No, they never come over. They tell you that they're like they're never coming over.
So you did a fresh restart.
So with things like Ultimate Team, which is like their pack card based system, and FIFA Volta, which is like more like FIFA Street or like NFL Street type of thing. That's interesting. Your character and those, and the cards you have, they came over. Your team is just a digital file that's always like around. You could bring it up on your phone. You could bring it up anywhere.
Right.
But career mode, for some reason, they were like, that's
interesting,
new. And I think there's different features. I don't quote me on it, but
okay.
I think there are some slight different features in the career mode, which is why they couldn't carry over instantly.
That's interesting. I guess that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna run into those games that like just kind of like you gotta restart or something.
But the faces of players.
I was gonna say, how does it look?
It's outstanding. The first thing you notice is the pitch. You always have that like midfield, upper level camera shot, and instantly there's pitch patterns. Whether it's checkered or lines or whatever. And
talk to me like an idiot. I don't know the sports.
Like you just see. It looks like a mower went a certain way with the blades on the grass.
We're talking about looking at the field.
Yes, just how the field looks in general. Players and their celebrations. There's different celebrations in this updated version than there were in the previous version of the game, the non-XS version.
Interesting.
If you score a goal, a game-tying goal, a game-winning goal in the last seconds of the match, your player goes into like an animation and like a different animation that didn't happen in the other version of the game, and he might grab a sideline camera and put it to his face, and you see his face and all his his current
pores.
4K
his
glory,
peach fuzz,
and all that. That looks great. The other game I had was Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah,
that was a big up. That's the first one I played. That's the first. And
my first one was like I put in Halo Reach, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like. That game, like I know the Master Chief Collection, it's a game I didn't mention. I played the Master Chief Collection that has, the 60 FPS. It can go up to 120 FPS if your TV supports it, and 4K. So I was like, you know what? I know this game for a fact has the upgrades. Let me buy Halo Reach and play that on the Master Chief Collection, and it ran awesome. Good.
No, things are running smoothly. I would say, maybe this is a negative comment, but it's not the biggest game changer in the world for me so far, these upgrades to previous games. I'm not like,
it's
wow,
nice.
Let me rush to get the console so I can have a little bit of an upgrade visually.
But see, I think that kind of makes it worth it, because if you're going to play anyway, at least you're playing
sure,
the best thing you can get. And I mean, I don't know what kind of TV you have. What's cool is if you go to settings and you go to TV or something like that, there's a chart that tells you what your TV can and cannot do, and it like X's it off.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so like my TV doesn't support the 120 hertz refresh rate, so I can only do 60 frames.
Okay.
I can do 4K, I can do 60 frames. I can't do higher than 60 frames. And I'm like, guess I gotta buy a new TV.
Yeah. Eventually, down
Guess
the
I'm gonna
road.
go out right now and spend $2,000 on the TV. But it's just kind of like, okay, well, the next time I buy a TV, I guess that's something I need to keep in mind is this refresh rate thing, because like I upgraded, from a standard like LCD TV to the 4K, so I made like a pretty significant jump. I don't plan on buying a new TV anytime soon, but that's something good to know. At least I know, okay, like I won't hit this 120 frames that Master Chief Collection can do.
Yeah. Well, you talked about, our kids going to be disappointed and stuff for not having a console on Christmas, but is the visual upgrade and maybe 3 or 4 games that aren't even console specific, or exclusive, I should say, are you that desperate? Like you can wait a few more weeks.
But
I mean, maybe if it's
if you're a kid,
first grade kid,
like the games that did come out, like Cyberpunk, Valhalla, like Cold War, like remember when we were kids? Not all the time. By the time I was in high school, I was getting most of the games on launch. But like sometimes there was a game. All right, I'll wait till Christmas and I'll throw that on the list. Or like even when I first got my 360, I got. What do you think when I got my 360? What'd you think I got in 7th grade?
Halo, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get Halo, like every other kid.
That's the reason I even got into the Xbox Series.
Right.
I was a PlayStation kid.
Right. So like you imagine like you're a parent and you're buying Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or what was the other game I said?
Watch Dogs? No.
Cyberpunk.
I
mean, I don't know why you get
But
Cyberpunk for your kid at this point, but hey mom, check this dick.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like, there's no game that's like this is built exclusively for next gen consoles, and that's shocking to me. That's the first time we've had this with a new console generation,
right? And like you look back and like you kind of get rose tinted glasses talking about console launches because for the most part, Halo's never been a launch day title.
No. It's
usually within the year, and that's what Infinite's going to be. PlayStation's the same way. It's like, I think for PlayStation 4, like, they didn't have a good launch. Killzone, Shadowfall, Knack, I think, was a release title. I'm trying to think what else. AC4 was there.
Was there, a Little Big Planet, maybe?
Maybe? No, I don't think so.
I feel like one of their, Killzone was one of them, but there was another franchise that they have that also...
Infamous.
Yes.
Yeah, and none of those titles hit the ballpark because and I think this year especially is a weirder year because you have you're not just developing, you're developing for both generations, but both generations are compatible with one another. Where 360 to 1, 4, or 3 to 4, it's not like I was playing with the PS3 kids in Call of Duty, which is a thing now. Or same with Apex. Apex is a cross-play across the board.
I was gonna say because of how games
Rocket
are doing
League
things,
is too, I imagine.
Yeah, it's for everything, and they made it free so that everyone can play it. So your Switch, your PC players, everybody.
So wait,
plays.
did they upgrade Rocket League? We talked about it, but we didn't.
There's a few visual upgrades for sure.
But is it
shine
XS,
off your car?
Is it XS?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the shine off your cars.
I guess there's only so much you can do with Rocket League. Yeah. But, when you jump in, you're like, oh, this looks better. Yeah, sick.
For sure. Yeah. I still haven't played Star Wars Squadrons. That was the last time I was on here, and but that has an upgrade. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, it does.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to get back in.
That is probably gonna look cool.
Yeah, I mean, Trey and I thought it would probably look amazing with VR. So
yeah,
can't even imagine what it'll be like with the XS.
But all in all, it's kind of okay, we, the big negative is there's not games, but I am enjoying playing all the games on it. It is cool to kind of get this upgrade, and Cyberpunk has really been my first new game on it, and I made that choice. I was gonna get, I got a PS4 collector's edition copy, and I was like, I haven't really played anything new on the X. I'm just gonna fucking eat the cost. I'll just get an Xbox version. In hindsight, that's probably a very good idea that I did that. But Cyberpunk you know, at this point, everyone knows that it's been running like shit and like all the controversy of it being buggy and stuff. I haven't had any issues on Series X.
Really?
Yeah, none. I've had like a few glitches here and there. Like I think I filmed
The
one yesterday
car.
of my car going in circles. And like that's funny and it's like it wasn't game breaking. And once I went up to it, it just stopped.
Yeah.
Because like it was like I guess it was like looking to come to me, but I wasn't there, so it was just like spinning around because when you call your car, it just kind of comes to you and just stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I haven't crashed. I've had just a few bugs that let me just save and restart it. Okay, it's gone. Like nothing game breaking, like a few floating cigarettes here and there, like little stuff. I really have been having like a pretty good experience, and I guess Xbox Series X is a good place to play it. But last generation is kind of where the issues lies, and I think this is like a big kind of moment for developers. It's like fuck. When do we cross off last gen because developing for it is killing us, and we need to focus on this generation.
I think we might see the fastest ever nixing of working on the ever maybe.
I don't know. I think like CD
A
Projekt
year?
Red looked at last generation. It's like look at all these units that are out there that people could buy our game for, and it's like look at PS5. It's night and day at this point. We're still at the beginning of a launch cycle. Like not everyone has a PS5, so I feel like it is kind of like, well, do we count our chickens before they hatch and just axe that version and lose that support and just fully go on next gen and maybe it works in the way it's like, oh, Halo Infinite, maybe it's not going to be for Xbox One. Who knows at this point? Like it was supposed to be.
Yeah, you would think it would.
Maybe. That's a system seller though. And if Xbox is smart, they'll identify, listen,
Bundle.
it is not worth supporting the last generation version or axing it.
Yeah, bundle.
You got to get an Xbox.
That's what I'm saying. Also bundle it with the new
I'm sure
Xbox,
they're going
yeah.
to. I'm sure they're
You know?
going to. And but you want to buy a new system for Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that game is a system seller. Is Miles Morales a system seller for PlayStation? I wouldn't say so. Is Demon Souls? Not really. None of the new games out are system sellers in a manner of speaking. And again, I mean, Demon Souls is exclusive to PS5. You can't play on that in PS4. But like Miles Morales, you can play on PS4.
Yeah.
And it's only like a fucking 12-hour game. Like
Yeah.
it's not something I'd be like, yeah, you need to play Miles. It looks great. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't think you need to play Miles on a PS5.
Is it like Spider-Man 1.5?
Yeah,
Is that
100%.
fair? Okay.
Yes.
It's not like a full
No.
sequel.
No. So when people want to get uppity and the Sony ponies come out and be like, yeah, Sony has the games, it's like, come on, like you got games, but like I'm done Miles already. I'm not going back to it. I platinumed it. I'm done. I'm almost done Demon Souls. So we're going to be back to square one where I'm going to be going back to some of my backlog collections in a few weeks here.
Yeah.
So, people love to give Xbox a hard time, and I really don't. Like, it's a negative that they don't have games, but, like, just look at it in the perspective of, like, you can play all your fucking games on this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
And you have Game Pass. Xbox is really, like, it's clear, like, when you
They're
get
pushing it.
a Series X, how about this ecosystem they are.
Yeah.
Because like they're really it doesn't feel like an upgrade like we mentioned, but like it still is an upgrade.
Yeah.
They're keeping you on the same operating system, everything goes over, achievements are the same, like nothing's really changed all that much. But the game's changed, and I'm not sure if the apps play stuff at a better frame rate or better quality, like in
I'm not
Netflix
sure.
and stuff.
I
have no idea.
I don't use my Xbox really for many. Oh, actually, that's not true. I use Peacock on Xbox.
What the fuck is
Plus.
Peacock, Ian?
It's NBC's
Sell me.
streaming service.
That's what it is?
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you want to watch, if you're a soccer fan in America,
I was like,
you
what's
have to
locked
watch
on
certain games only through that.
How much you pay a month for that?
$7 bucks.
That's not bad.
And
It's
you
like
get
Disney
you
Plus.
get there's music, there are movies that are NBC Universal that you can only watch through that app.
Like what?
I couldn't tell.
What am I missing out?
I only have this for soccer.
So
But there are TV shows. I believe The Office is going to it in January.
Yeah, it's coming off of Netflix. Ain't
Yeah,
it?
and going straight to there. So that's going to be one of their sellers. Because Netflix, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think that's Netflix's top show that is not theirs that's streamed.
I mean, I know every girl on Hinge watches it because that's what it's not even funny. Like, I swear to God. Like, every other girl on a dating app tells you they watch The Office. It's like, it's not a fucking personality trait that you watch a show that everyone else watches. Let's get over it. You're probably right. going off of that point. We haven't talked about the controller.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new controller?
The only thing that I don't know if it's a negative, but the D-pad is different.
You don't like it?
I don't know if I like it. I like having that gap that my thumb can feel an extreme difference from up to the right. You know, and they have like little pizza slices in between the D-pad that on this controller now. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. Hefty, not bulky. Like I'm holding something solid. I don't know.
It feels a lot more like you just said, more solid than the Xbox One controller.
Yeah,
I definitely feel that. I love it, honestly. And my big thing is the bumps on the controller, on the triggers.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is, but like that really sells it for me.
Now I bought a not a Design Lab, just one of their colored ones.
Right.
It feels similar, and I bought that 2 years ago.
And they have the bumps on it.
Yeah,
like the
it
newer
feels
ones
very similar to the
right.
So it wasn't that shocking of an upgrade for me.
I mean they were innovating. You know, look at their like we can look at it after this. The original Xbox One controller and the Xbox One controller, you know, up until recently, it's changed. They've innovated on that controller, but I think that's what the Xbox Series X and S controller is. It's just an innovation on what they already done. The controller was good. We're gonna make it a little bit better. Apparently, it's a little bit smaller, and then now we have a share button. Like I really like it. I think it's a good upgrade. It's not as drastic as DualShock 4 to DualSense, but I don't think it needs to be. I think like the DualShock 4 was kind of like looking at the DualSense and the DualShock 4. The DualShock 4 looks like a fucking toy compared to that thing. It looks so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the presentation, it's just like, okay, like this looks like a serious piece of hardware, where the DualShock 4, like, you know, imagine you have a red controller and you got this fucking like goofy looking touchpad like that's black. Like it just kind of looks like a toy. And Xbox controllers, you know, never really looked like toys to me, but I just think they have like a more solid design, and they're clearly like always innovating, and like that's kind of that's a theme with Xbox. They're always kind of like upping themselves, even though they don't have to, and like Sony isn't. And I think it kind of shows. I like the share button; it's cool. I find myself using it like a lot, especially with like Cyberpunk or like Red Dead, when I fucking like spin off my horse in crazy ways.
I'm just a clip grabber. I'm just like. But I don't.
Yeah, you do with Rocket League.
But Rocket League, FIFA, even shooter or something here and there, or even your occasional funny glitch that you don't want to forget. Sometimes you got to get that.
Right.
But I haven't really even used the button to do that.
You're still doing
I just double click the Xbox button.
Yeah.
So.
And that's kind of cool. It's like the old ways still work, and hey, guess what? Your old controllers also work on the Xbox. I've connected them and they work, and it's just like. Again, Xbox and Microsoft are making this console like truly feel like, hey, like you remember that $80 you spent on your Design Labs controller? You can still use that if you really want to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I'll probably get another Design Labs controller, at some point when they stop the program for now, probably because, new systems coming out.
The new
so they're gonna they'll probably like change the Design Labs up to do the new controller. And but that's fine. Like I love Design Labs. Design Labs is cool. Do you have one of those?
I don't have a Design Lab. No, I've created one and been seconds away from clicking purchase, but I'm waiting.
They make for cool gifts.
I'm sure. Yeah,
I got Techman one for our Pollyanna one year.
Oh,
yeah, I did like a Penn State color.
Oh yeah.
We are. It's just like it does make for like a cool gift.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now there's just a black controller out right now, right?
I think there's a white.
Is there?
The S has it.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I think there's like a blue one. I think they already have colors variants out.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if there's colors or not.
I think so. I would have to look it up.
Now, what about PlayStation? I know this is an Xbox.
No, it's all right. I don't think so. I know they're selling the DualSense, but I don't think there's any color variation yet. And same thing with the PS4. It's just like, well, it has like some colors. It's not like there's like a super amount of custom. What's the word?
Customization.
Thank you. I want to say like customizability, but like, is that a word? Like, I don't know. and it didn't just come to me, and I like paused. I was like, oh, I don't want to say that. Yeah, like again, controller solid. I like it. I have no complaints. The DualSense is cool too.
How about the shape and design of the console?
So what do you think?
I like the green from the top that they've painted on the insides of the fan cooling.
It's a cool
system.
touch.
I almost took me 2 days to like figure out what I was kind of looking at. I was like, oh, they just paint it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was actually green down inside there.
For a while, I thought it was a light. Like,
really?
looking at the videos when they first released it, it's like, oh, dude, it's got like a light.
Shoot a green light out.
That's cool. But it's like, oh. And I think Phil Spencer even said something about it. He's like, that would have been expensive. So we just went for doing this optical illusion with the paint. I'm like, it still kind of works.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I like it. It's the monolith.
The
man.
fridge. Yeah, the monolith.
Yeah, the fridge. Like it's funny and memey, but like I don't know, it works. I think it's very recognizable. So is the PlayStation 5. Like PlayStation 5 definitely has its own look too, and I don't like. I think the Xbox One, looking back, I would have probably said the same thing, but like the Xbox One original definitely doesn't really stand out. It looks like a VCR, and
sure, I'm looking at both right now. I'm not the biggest tech savvy person as far as like what goes into these consoles goes, but I don't know. I think I like the looks of the Xbox One and PS4 compared to the new systems that are out now. They look more system-ish maybe, and these look like they had to do something unique in order to put
it work.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm interested, like, thinking years down the line, like, what is next gen gonna look like? Are we gonna get bigger? Or are we gonna go smaller again? Because that was kind of the thing, right? I feel like the Xbox One and Xbox 360 were probably like similar size. I imagine the Xbox One is a little bit bigger, and then the S was obviously smaller. It's like, okay, like, are we gonna go bigger? Or are we gonna go smaller? What's gonna happen?
Well, you saying that? When are we getting pro versions, or when are we getting our, and how much
That's
smaller,
a question.
and what's the design of those going to be like?
Well, like, what can they do better? Are we gonna wait 4 years because we need to wait for the technology to be better?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not in any rush to be like, this needs to be out next year. We need a better version.
Right, but people have been talking about the Switch Pro, which doesn't exist for years now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that's going to be a thing. I like, there's no confirmation that Nintendo is going to release a pro model of the Switch. But everyone like kind of wants it.
They seem to be really pushing their the Switch Lite.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I mean, I feel like that a lot of people, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like, do you play your Switch on the TV or do you play it handheld? I mean, I know you don't play it.
TV.
Okay. See, I feel like a lot of people play it handheld.
So yeah, it's nice if I'm watching like a sporting event that I'm kind of invested in, like in the background, and I can just have my console in my hand playing, and then look up and watch at the same time. But other than that, but that's a different topic, different day.
Yeah.
As far as the design, it's cool. Like I said, I like the green. That's probably the only uniqueness that stands out. If they didn't do that, you just have some black rectangle in your gaming setup.
And that was kind of when I was talking about PlayStation 5. I think one of the things is like you can't stand it up in your entertainment system. These things are like just too big for that to.
You need a separate or
work
on top or like some type of
right.
shelving
and
like
you need,
behind you here, if that's how you kind of, maybe that's where you put your games and have like a TV in
right,
the middle
or you
something
put
like
it
that.
on your stand, but as you can see, my stand is literally as big as my TV, so there's no rooms on the side. I think that's like one big negative with the systems is their size is kind of like, well, you can only lean them flat. The Xbox Series X looks fine laying down, but I like it standing up because that's how they're like presenting it to you in the marketing. So I feel like that's the way they want you to do it.
Sure.
That's kind of my thinking behind it. Same thing with the PlayStation.
I mind standing up as well, yeah.
Right.
Just because that's how I saw it.
And I've never done that with a console. This is the first time I've ever stood up a console.
Yeah.
Not even like my Xbox 360. I never stood that up.
I think
not my PlayStation 2 either.
Just based off of setups that I've had in the past, I did stand my PS3 up for a little bit. And the PS3, you could change the PlayStation logo.
You can do that on PS2 too.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw a video recently that said that, and I'm like, I'm not sure I knew that.
Yeah, I know you could like switch the logo around to how you stand your, if you have it standing up or not. But Did you buy that table just for these consoles? Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice table. I got off Wayfair.
But,
yeah, but like that's what I had to do. I'm like, I want to do this right. As you can see, like I didn't want to like take that middle shelf out of my entertainment stand and then sit it on the one to the ground, because I've kicked that piece of glass out before and there's nothing on it, but like I've kicked it out and it like falls, and like, I don't want my system like falling over or fucking like a disc getting like, if your Xbox, like if you pick up an Xbox One and shake it, like your disc will like break.
Speaking of disc, have you put any disc into your new Xbox and played any games disc wise?
Pretty much all of them besides Apex.
Really?
Yeah. So you've been all digital.
Yeah.
I've been for the most part disc.
I
Red Dead, Master Chief Collection, Kingdoms of Amalur, Cyberpunk, all disc.
Well, so it downloads faster then. All those games you had this. You said you had the.
No and yes, there is data on the disc, but I think downloads nowadays, they're not on the disc. Some of it is on the disc, but not all of it is. I think a lot of it does pull from the internet. I think that's why
that can't be true.
Really?
Because they're gonna say you have to buy the game and you also have to have the internet.
Yeah.
What
I think that with most games, I think they like require, even if it's single player, like require internet connection for that reason.
Interesting.
For patches and stuff, because they always do a day one patch. If you didn't notice, a lot of games have day one patches that, okay, they printed the disc, but they're still going to work on the game. It's just going to be a day one fix.
Yeah,
they're going to fix bugs through a day one patch. I don't know. That's kind of like talking about like the finer details of something. I'm not sure exactly if you can install games offline, because why would I do that?
I tried to purchase now. This is probably user error, but I tried to purchase Cyberpunk through Microsoft's store on the Xbox app and have it downloading by the time I got home.
I've yet to do that. Go ahead.
I tried to, and it was not simple, or I should say, seemed complicated.
Did you buy it?
You had to buy it, but you can't buy anything on the Xbox app. It takes you to the Microsoft store online, which will take you to your internet browser on your phone. Then you have to buy it. Then you have to own it. Then you hit download on the Xbox.
Does it give you a code you got to redeem?
I didn't get that far. I was just like, I can wait. This is
I think that's what it does. It'll give you a code which you put in, which you get, then you get the game.
Yeah. So I haven't tried that yet, but
I haven't downloaded anything from my phone.
Yeah.
I know you can do it. I haven't tried it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to try it. What else? Achievements are kind of the same. Like a lot of things are the same. It's not like, we don't really have to walk through the whole dashboard because it's pretty much the same. It's which I like, which, I don't mind that things are the same. Like I really don't. I think that might be like if you're talking to somebody and they go, well, what's the point of getting a new console if it's all the same? And it's just like, dude, like that's like what next gen is about convenience. That's what this console generation's about. Like, and I think Xbox really hits home to like everything so far has been pretty convenient, except for storage, which they're making their own. I wanted to mention that like they have their own SSD slot for certain solid state drives that work with the Xbox, and we were talking about that. So your hard drive that you plugged in still works.
2 terabyte hard drive for my Xbox One. I just I double checked before the other day, and on Xbox like facts page or whatever, they said it's as simple as just unplugging your terabyte hard drive and plugging it into your new console, and everything popped up instantly. Now, like you said, a lot of those games are disc based. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them
That shouldn't matter. What matters is the fact that it's not running off of the internal drive, which is an SSD, which means so like the hard drive, the external drive you have is disk based, which means it literally like moves. The disc is like moving around. Do you understand this? Or
yes, I do understand that.
Okay. No, or do I have to explain what an SSD is?
No, I do.
Okay, because some people like don't know what a solid state drive is, and for those who don't know, a solid state drive is an all digital drive. There's no like moving parts. I know that sounds kind of goofy, but like that's the difference. Yeah, so like you're not if you don't have a game not downloaded on your internal drive, like you're not going to get those speeds, and like the games might load slower. And I think I think that's what the messaging was in the beginning. I didn't know you could actually plug in and still play. I thought there was like, oh, if you want your games to run like they would correctly, you need to install it internally.
Have you now your load times with old games?
Oh my
we
God.
touched on that.
Dude, Red Dead instant. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's
And I'm playing with
outrageous.
Trio and I'm like, yo, you in? Nah, dude. And he's still waiting. Like a minute.
Yeah.
Like he's still
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, dude, this is hilarious.
So I have a GTA 5 on a disc, and just yesterday I
Oh.
put it in to download it. So I haven't done it yet, but
Okay.
people have been like,
How's
it's
it-
instant. And I also saw a clip on YouTube where it has gotten a bit of a graphics bump. It's not an XS series upgraded or whatever,
Right,
where
but
get the logo.
every game you put in has a
Like the
upgrade
water
to some
even
extent.
has like a brightness or to it that
Ray
is-
tracing, baby.
Yeah, and so that's very high.
Good point that I totally didn't bring up because like the load times are incredible.
So in the old, when you play FIFA on Xbox One and you play somebody online, during load screens, either A, they put you in like a little arena where you could do free shoot around,
Right, just run around.
or while the game loads, or if you're playing like say Ultimate Team, you would see your opponent's team lineup like before the game started and be like, okay, he has that character, he has this guy, he has that guy. Now because load times are so fast, that's not a thing anymore. Like,
Wow.
So I have no idea who I'm playing, like what the other team's players are until the game actually starts because you're just in it. It loads so fast.
Yeah, like playing with somebody on Last Generation, like you really see it. Because like Red Dead 2, notorious game with notoriously slow loads and long loads. And it's just like I'm in, like that title screen is up, boom, online. I'm waiting 10 seconds maybe to get into online. And
It's awesome.
And that load time was maybe a minute.
And what's crazy is that's going to be the norm now. Like, no one's going to remember the struggle.
Cyberpunk doesn't take a long time to load. Halo is pretty much instantaneous. Like I start up a campaign mission, I'm in. Like there's no load times. But and like I could kind of say the same thing with the PlayStation, but I feel like maybe the games I play on the Xbox, I just notice it more because I'm playing older games that like, okay, like I know Red Dead's load time. Like I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
I know what Gears also had loading into the game took a while. Once you were in, you were good. But like that initial load, it's like this takes fucking forever.
Yeah.
But man, again, convenience. The convenience of not having to sit there and wait. And I think what really makes you notice is when you load into a game and you don't have time to get on your phone.
Yeah.
That's the notice I
Sure.
really think. Because it's like, hey, you're spending less time on your phone. 2, you're in your game faster.
Yeah.
Because like, how many times between games you like on Twitter or fucking like in a group chat or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I think it's a big change. Trying to think of anything else that we haven't hit. So maybe like kind of like closing thoughts. Are you happy with the purchase? Are you glad you spent the $500?
Yes, just because I know that that's going to be the price for a while, and so why not just get it already now and
Right,
have
I'm-
that convenience? And
I'm
have
kind of the
those,
same way. I mean, clearly. I mean, we both have them. We don't have to worry about it, but like we still have friends. Like a majority of our friends,
Yeah.
pretty much all of them don't have it. So now they have to worry about getting one. And there's really no rush in a sense, but like I don't know what the first exclusives coming out that that's I've been thinking about that. It's like what's the next games that are coming out? And I'm like I don't think
a year from now,
I don't
next
know
holiday season.
I don't know if there's anything coming out in February or March. I'm trying to think like I really don't know off the top of my head. There's probably some not dumb game, but there's probably a game that I'm like not thinking about that it's like oh yeah of course
Yeah.
but like I think we're not going to get our bigger ones until spring. Like, we're going to get Horizon Forbidden West, and it's on an Xbox game. But, those games are, like, in the pipeline. But the question is, when are they going to release?
Our next God of War.
Is it going to hit spring, or is it going to be holiday?
Yeah. Like you said, the convenience is nice. I don't think there's a rush. You seem to be a little less angry that there were no games for it as I was. I was a little bit disappointed. After a while, you're just like, I have this new console, and it doesn't really feel like, I remember people being like, so how is it? How is it? And you're like, it's cool.
Right.
I'm not like, oh my God. I remember I got my PlayStation 4 and I played MLB The Show on a PlayStation 4 instead of a PlayStation 3, and I was like, oh my God, the stadium's different. There's so many more fans in the crowd, and the grass is different, and everything. It was crazy. Now that's not an instant launch title. It came out a few months after, like that came out in November, and then MLB The Show comes out in like March or.
I was gonna say, is this the first year the show was not?
This one coming up. So 2021 will be the first time it's not exclusive.
So you're still gonna play it on PS4 or 5?
Always. I just have that control in my hand, that feeling.
All right, man. Well, you good? Got anything else?
That's all I got.
Cool. I think that wraps it up for us. Thank you for watching live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. You can find this podcast whenever you want to watch it on youtube.com/Delco Nerd Network, and podcast apps. Just search Delco Nerd Network, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, whatever you want to use. We're probably on them. You can find us on social media at Delco Nerds, Instagram and Twitter, and then Facebook, of course, Delco Nerd Network. All this info can be found at DelcoNerdNetwork.com. Ian, that has been Ian. I'm trying to do Trio's outro. He does it better than I do. When I try to say people's names, it doesn't work. But Ian, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, we'll see you next time. Stay nerdy.